Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I am an ordained minister. We are in Bible study. We are in the book of Luke. We are in chapter 20, and we are doing the parable of the tenants. So verse 9, sorry. Chapter 20, verse 9, and we are going through chapter 26. So we're doing two parables in this. The first one is called the parable of the tenants. We're in the NIV, and we will be through next year, because next year we'll do the Old Testament and the Psalms, and we'll start our comparison language with the Proverbs, to compare the NIV Proverbs to the KJV Proverbs. The KJV Proverbs are already posted on the Facebook page. The next Bible that we'll read after this one will be the KJV. And then we'll really get into the comparison language to see how the edits make the message change. Okay? The parable of the tenants, verse 9. He went on to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard, rented it to some farmers, and went away for a long time. At harvest time, he sent a servant to the tenants so they would give him some fruit of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. He sent another servant, but that one they also beat and treated shamefully and sent away empty-handed. Still he sent a third, and they wounded him and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my son, whom I love. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they talked the matter over. "This is the heir," they said. "Let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and kill those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When the people heard this, they said, "May this never be." Jesus looked directly at them and asked, "Then what is the meaning of that which is written? The stone the builders rejected has become the capstone." Now it's got D and E, and one of those is sometimes when it's cornerstone, but it also comes from Psalm 118:22. And I want to see which one it is as we go through different versions of the Bible. Because capstone and cornerstone in construction, which is where I've spent a good 25 years of my life, are not the same thing. They do not serve the same function. A cornerstone is a base. It's a weight point for a building to rest on. Like Jesus is the cornerstone of our faith. A capstone is something that goes on top. Like to keep the water out, it seals in, like at the top of, say, like a parapet wall, or it doesn't have to be a parapet wall, but the top of a wall. So, capstone. Now, and I'm going to say in this, it means who's he speaking to? Or who's he speaking about? Because for the apostles, of course, who will be the first saints, Jesus is the cornerstone of their faith. He is what the faith is built on for a Christian. For the Jewish people, though, he's the capstone, because this is a parable about him. God kept sending prophets. They kept disrespecting and killing them. So he sent his son, who they're going to kill. So then, of course, he's not going to let him into heaven, because if you kill, God's son, he's not. Why would he let you into heaven? Kind of thing. So it does matter That's why we're going to examine the differences, because who is he addressing it to? If he said capstone, it's because he's talking about the Pharisees to the apostles. Everyone who falls on that stone. Capstone is like, it's above, so you'd have to be falling from above. Cornerstone is below. It's at the base of a building. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, but he on whom it falls will be crushed. The teachers of the law and the chief priests looked for a way to arrest him immediately, because he knew they had spoken this parable against them. But they were afraid of the people. So that would indicate capstone and not cornerstone. Because again, who is he talking to? In that case, he was talking to the Pharisees. This one is called paying taxes to Caesar. Because remember, now the Pharisees are trying to trick him so they can get him arrested. They want to silence him. The people who are speaking out, the whistleblowers, always are looking to be silenced by like someone. Someone is always trying to stop them. That's why they're whistleblowers in the first place. Somebody else is behaving inappropriately, and they don't want to be called out. People in power really do. Power positions on earth often have jockeying for, position based upon someone's opinion of you. That's why I say no thank you. Paying taxes to Caesar, verse 20. Keeping a close watch on him, they sent spies who pretended to be honest. They hoped to catch Jesus in something he said, so they might hand him over to the power and authority of the governor. So the spies questioned him. Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right, and that you do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Ooh, see, because that's the trick. He says don't pay taxes to Caesar, then, he can be arrested by the Romans for, trying to create insurrection, right? So, not good. But he says, you do pay taxes. He's kind of legitimizing the Romans being there, and in their opinion about what the Messiah is supposed to bring. This would invalidate him. That's why they think it's a trick. He doesn't really care about their opinion. And I think that's the difference. They're laboring under the delusion that he cares about their opinion of him or his right to do this stuff. People in power usually do assume that everybody everybody they view as under them, naturally, care what they have to think, because that's how they got into a position of power. They don't necessarily realize that not everybody's playing their game. So, they're trying to trick him. Verse 23. He saw through their duplicity. Of course he did, because he's a Messiah. And said to them, show me a denarius. Whose portrait and inscription are on it? Caesar's, they replied. He said to them, then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. Now, that's a very, in those lists of things in the Jewish culture about things that you are or are not supposed to do, it doesn't really tell you that you're supposed to go and rebel all the time. In fact, being a Christian does not mean rebelling against your government. It doesn't mean you can't, but kind of not supposed to be breaking the laws of man so that you don't get people looking at you like, being a Christian means something negative. Kind of supposed to not be out in the world trying to create drama. So, verse 26. They were unable to trap him in what he said there in the public, and astonished by its answer, they became silent. Because they were like, oh, he said, pay taxes. Huh. We weren't expecting that. Like I said, they rarely are. They rarely are. So, let's remember that, you can only really have power over someone if they decide that your opinion matters and that they have to obey you. They do have to recognize your authority before, you should assume that they're going to just blindly do as you say. I kind of feel like we're not really supposed to blindly do what anybody says. And we're supposed to just check back in with God for everything. Like, we can blindly do what he says. But those people still walking around in vessels, bodies, the flesh, however you want to contextualize for you, whatever word feels right for you. Not so much them. Never really been about blindly obeying those people. God, though, he can have whatever he wants. Till a few minutes from now, friends.